Like you cannot own an easement right in toto with respect to the interest of the property.
We have another question, ma'am, from Mr. Rakesh Andaluri. He's asking, explain detail about regularization of encroachment.
I am sorry, Rakesh, since we are not extending the ambit of encroachments in this particular workshop, I would like to avoid this question. But you can always text me, like you can always email it to me, and I would be happy to address your concerns. I would really expect you guys to address any questions with respect to the presentation, because since we have discussed it, it's very easy for us to stick to a particular concept. If not, you guys have already gone through the leave and license terms, so like you've seen the sample agreement. Are there any questions with respect to the drafting? I think this is the one-on-one discussion which would help you to improve and understand the drafting point of view as well.
We have another question from Mr. Hemant Kumar. So he's asking, in a rural area, which laws governing the selling and buying of immovable property?
It depends upon which rural area are you talking about, like of Maharashtra, of Delhi. It again depends. Every property in a state has its own governing laws with respect to land. For example, if I'm giving to give you an example, if you talk about Bandra, everyone knows Bandra. So the land in Bandra BKC, it is an MMRDA land which is owned by the governmental authority, and no part of that land can be sold to any third party. There are only deeds of assignment and not a sale deed, because it is already leased to MMRDA, and the MMRDA only transfers the right by the way of a deed of assignment. So which immovable property, where is it situated, how big is the property, these all factors are also happen to taken into consideration.
Okay. Ma'am, we have another question. Person is asking, can foreign entities acquire or transfer interest in immovable property in India? How does government will regulate foreign investment in real estate sector?
Yes, they can, and FEMA is the regulating authority, and the rules and regulations laid down in FEMA will apply to the foreign authority who tries to, take interest into an immovable property situated in India.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. There is another question from Mr. Rahul Kumawat. He's asking, in general, what is your take on RERA implementation in states other than Maharashtra? Has it been successfully implemented? If not, why?
Uh, okay, apart from Maharashtra, since I practice in Maharashtra, I would be more comfortable with Maharashtra. But as we analyzed during our workshop, I had taken an example of MP RERA. And I think RERA has been a very instrumental, piece of legislation for the builders and as well as the allottees. And of course, there are some fallbacks in few sections. It cannot, any law is not completely covered, but RERA has been really good in implementing and securing the interests of the promoters in allotting. For example, MP had also shown in the presentation how many registered projects are there, how many complaints were filed, and how many complaints were sought, because it is a very fast dispute redressal forum. So yes, it has been successful, and the example was MP.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we have another question. Is it difficult, the person is saying it is difficult to register the old documents, but what can we do if there is some issue with it, if with registering the old document?
But you need to analyze what kind of issues are you talking about, because only registration, but what is the issue? For example, as mentioned in the workshop itself, if a person is not in India and it is not executed, it cannot be registered because it is not executed. But from the date of receiving the document in India, the 3-month period is valid. So you need to understand what type of issues are you talking about. Does the act provide any remedy to that effect? If not, are there any judgments given by any Supreme Court, High Court to regularize the defect?
Okay. Ma'am, then there is another question. Is transfer of development rights similar to joint development agreement?
No. TDR, transfer of development right, is very different from the joint development rights. JDR you're talking about, if I'm not wrong, right? So joint development agreement is something two developers come into contract with a land owner to develop the property on that particular premises. TDR is something, a beneficial factor which is given to a particular developer to use in that. It is a government incentive, right? Like you can use it on any different area of land as well.
Ma'am, we have another question. Uh, the question is from Mr. Rakesh. He's asking how long is an agreement valid?
um, this is actually a very indefinite question. Which agreement are we talking to any particularly?
Mr. Rakesh, would you want to clarify which agreement are you talking about?
And just to give you an answer, an overview, an agreement, any agreement is valid until and unless if it is a leave and license agreement, the term it is formed. If it is a lease agreement, the number of years it is mentioned. If you're talking about a sale deed, it is like once the title of the interest in the property is given to third party, it will be valid until and unless the transfer or like the interest in the property remains with that particular person.
Okay, now we have another question, ma'am, from Mr. Shakti Kumar Pandey. What if property is not RERA registered? Then what are we supposed to do?
Okay, the first and the foremost rule, as we talked also, is that under RERA, every project should be registered. Like this is a mandatory compliance which came when the RERA was held effective. No matter which state I'm talking about, registration of the real estate project is very mandatory and is the first step. So if a project is not registered under the act itself, there are some penal provisions which are attracted, and the developer may have to face some part of fine or some imprisonment, which is again on discretion. But if the project is not registered, then the person cannot, the promoter or the developer cannot sell that particular project. It doesn't fall only, within the ambit of that RERA act.
We have another question, ma'am, from Mr. Harshjeet Tomar. He's asking, does commercial leave and license is same as residential, and if not, what are the differences?
Uh, definitely. Okay, right now, when we talk about transactions, I want you to understand everything depends upon how you firstly draft it and secondly construe it. Residential and commercial, if you're asking from the drafting point of view, again, they'll be different, but there are some clauses which I discussed with you. They are a blanket clause. Like you can definitely see, for example, the use of premises. When I'm talking about the commercial, my use of premises will exactly signify or will exactly tell me what is the use. You can't just say for the commercial purposes. You will mention commercial purposes being, for example, any IT sector is setting up their office. So commercial purposes being an IT sector for so and so office under so and so act, because you need to take IT permissions also from the IT sector. And when you talk about the residential, of course, residence is a very simple term to understand, to reside. So yeah, this is the basic difference.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, there is another question from Mr. Hemant Kumar. He's asking, I have a gift document relating to immovable property, but that I think this question is already repeated.
Yeah, I think he is asking with respect to if
Okay, so
it
he's saying,
can be.
like he asked that 20 years ago the same question. Now saying, adding to it, the person who gifted that property is no more. Then how can I claim on that property? He's no more now. Like the person who gifted that property is no more. So how can the person claim that property?
This is actually a vague question because I don't have the document, the mode of instrument in hand, and it's very difficult to determine the clauses which have been mentioned in there. Of course, the gift is done, but it is not registered. There is a defect in the title, like there is the defect in the act of transfer, which is defined in the section 5. I'm not sure if I'll be best suitable to advise you, or it can be construed as a legal advice right now.
Okay. Ma'am, another question from Ms. Devyani Sharma. She's asking, is single registration under RERA sufficient?
Uh, Single registration with respect to a project.
Devyani, please clarify what exactly are you trying to ask? Okay, so further I'll put a question from K. Leela Ganesh. Uh, his question is, if there is an issue between me as buyer and promoter, can I approach consumer court?
Okay, this is actually a very interesting question. The thing is, RERA does not bar the jurisdiction of other tribunals. I'm talking about tribunals and not court. You can definitely approach a consumer forum, but you cannot go to a civil court as it has placed few restrictions on it, because consumer buyer is a consumer and consumer is a forum and not a court. So yes, you can go to consumer forum. Like the tribunals are not barred.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. There is another question from Mr. Rakesh. If licensee does not deliver possession, then how landlord can get back?
As mentioned in the drafting session, the you need to mention when the possession has to be given back at the end of the agreement. If not, then the legal provisions are also mentioned in the agreement that if the licensee fails to deliver back the possession, he or she would face some legal consequences under so and so act. Usually, it is mentioned. Like you can go to court of law because it's your property and you can claim back the possession back to you. There are few case laws, I think, which substantiate my argument.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, that Divyani's question was like the one which I had put you before, that is single registration under RERA sufficient. In addition to that, she's asking in case of different phases and also any PAN requirement.
Okay, so for the participants, a RERA project can be registered in different phases. Different phases can be, like when you enter a complex, there are wing A, wing B, wing C. So a wing A would be construed as my one registered project. Wing B can be construed as a different registered project. Wing C would be a different registered project. So these are separate projects under the same name and they are registered in phases. I want to register wing A, I'll complete the project, complete construction and then move to the wing B. Then I'll get my wing B registered. It is not compulsion under the law. And also in one particular building, you can do phase wise registration of 3 floors, 4 floors. It depends upon the promoter. So yes, it can be done different registrations pertaining to the wings or floors, and that would be construed as a phase wise registration.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, Hemant Kumar, who had put up a question about that person who is no more and he had gifted a property, like I had narrated earlier. He's saying that if the like the document is handwritten, then what is the, you know, like redressal for it?
Uh, Again, this shouldn't be legal advice, but how much I understand, if it is a handwritten document, again, the nature, the language of the document would be an important factor. If it is written in, like, if I am Gujarati and if I've written the document in English, then you need a notary stamp saying that, this person had narrated this document and written in full legal sound mind, and, he understands English and it was narrated to him. So these are few other additional factors which again come into place.
Anybody else who has any question wants to ask something from ma'am related to real estate laws, RERA, specifically Registration Act, because ma'am has, you know, a lot of knowledge about all the acts. Anybody else? Please put up your question. I think we are almost done with it now. So we got a question. Um, this is a question from Mr. Ganesh, I guess. Yeah, he has asked that there are two partners in promoter side. Due to dispute between them, they separated each other. They have completed project within time and didn't deliver property. As I'm consumer, I suffered loss. So what is the remedy for this?
Um, I don't understand. Did the project stop because they separated, or because a promoter can be a single person also? It doesn't have to be necessarily an entity. So, did the project stop? Due to what reasons the project stopped? And then you can always address your grievances to the RERA authority, saying that the project was firstly registered. They had promised us, like they had given us the assurance of the timely delivery of the possession by completing the construction with so and so date. And how will you come to know? Because of the documents which are uploaded on the website. So you need to take all that other factors also into consideration, because
Okay.
RERA gives a very specific thing that you need to complete the construction of the project in a timely manner.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, there is another question from Mr. Devashish. He's asking, a developer has left township with unfinished work and still municipal corporation has issued completion certificate and still not handling over township into his own land hands. So this is in his own hands means municipal corporation. And developer entered into agreement to complete work and expired. Then what to do?
I'm not sure if I'll be the best person to answer this question.
Okay. We have another question. What is the main work of legal counsel in a real estate company?
Okay, so in a real estate company, basically that means you are advising, firstly, secondly, handling transaction, thirdly, doing the documentation work. Now, when I say advising, what happens is in a real estate company, a lot of, I'm not sure company as in if you're talking about a firm, but I'm giving a generic view. Real estate work in practical can be divided into these three components. Advising, as in sometime what happens is a client comes to you, there is this so and so plot, but there are some legal complications, so can you advise us, should we buy it or should we not buy it? So they'll provide you with all the files. You will go through each and every file. You will see if the defects can be remedied, if it is advisable, and if it is fruitful for the client, then you advise on going ahead with the transaction. Otherwise, you don't enter into a transaction. Secondly is transaction. What is a transaction? It is a process from advising to execution of the document. In all that, you have the due diligence process involved, you have all the documentation involved, you handle a complete sale and purchase of a particular property or premises. And the third one which I was talking about, it is given a generic view. Some people only do the documentation work. Documentation is in drafting sale deed, agreement for sale, then recording the commercials and doing it into formulating it into different deeds and agreements. So yeah, these are few instances.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, one last question we would want to put before you. Why rent contract is for 11 months? This is a question by Mr. Rakesh.
Rent.
Contract or agreement is for 11 months.
Okay, so usually what happens is when you enter into a 12 months duration period leave and license, which it will be called, it attracts some stamp duty implications. But when you do it for 11 months, the complexity of the transaction is relaxed. So people who want to enter into transaction and do not get into more complicated legal provisions or attract legal complications, they enter into a rent agreement, because it's very simple. You just do it for 11 months, you don't have stamp duty. And whereas if you do it for 12 months, then you get attracted to all the other legal provisions. So rent agreement is very basically simple, same as a leave and license agreement.
Okay. Now, there is an interesting question. What about what all things a law student should do in order to make his career in real estate? Please answer this question.
And this is actually a nice question. So, firstly, I would recommend intern with a firm who practices in real estate very specifically, because right now the scope of real estate is extending towards corporate also. So you need to figure out if you want to do transactional documentation work with respect to the property or with respect to the company. I particularly practice in a with respect to the property. So firstly, you should intern, because then you will be exposed to different transaction, different nature of work, different roles such as advisory documentation. Secondly, try and read up, the Financial Express, because it gives lot of information with respect to the property disputes or some property claims. And I really feel it's a very nice newspaper to understand the generic real estate market in general, because it's just not related to lease agreement and residential. It has hospitality and other hospitals and restaurants into picture as well. Then thirdly, I would recommend read about the land where you are staying, or where you are at least have been situated since past 5 6 years, because as I mentioned, every land would have a different areas of law that will attract them. For example, Bandra, I give you a very nice example which not many people know. So read read laws about the different areas. And fourthly, I'm a lot of people have asked me for a lot of certifications if there are any. So sadly, I haven't personally come across any certifications which I would want to recommend, but it would be through your own personal knowledge and updating yourself, I think. Yeah, so internship being the main motivational factor to understand.
Okay. Uh, so, ma'am, like we would be ending with our question and answer round. I am sorry, like there are few more questions, but we are running short of time. And like all the participants can put up your queries. We'll forward those queries to ma'am. She'll forward, like she'll answer them, and we'll forward your questions back to you with along with answers given by ma'am. As we are running short of time, really sorry once again for it. Now I request Miss Avisha Barange ma'am to propose a vote of thanks. Avisha ma'am, please kindly take over.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am Avisha Barange, faculty coordinator of this event. I am happy that I have got this chance to propose a vote of thanks on this very day. Firstly, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Ms. Utkarsha Nikam ma'am for sparing her valuable time by sharing her knowledge in abundance and agreeing for delivering the session in this time of crisis. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I would like to thank Dr. Nishan Joshi, sir, in charge, Department of Law, Prestige Institute of Management and Research, for giving me immense support for making this workshop a reality. I would even thank all the faculties and administration authorities for extending their great support in execution of this session. uh, a heartfelt thank you to my colleague, also faculty coordinator, Mr. Arjit Pandey sir, for helping me in successfully completing this workshop. A sincere and heartful thank you to all the participants for attending the session and for cooperating with us at this time. I must not forget to thank all the students who have volunteered and worked so hard for implementation of this workshop. And last but not the least, thank you to everyone who has helped directly or indirectly in making this session a great success. Take precautions, stay indoors, and stay safe. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Utkarsha ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, it was completely my pleasure to be associated.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
I would be like now ending the meeting. If you have any queries, once again, I am saying you can message us our queries, your queries to us, and we would be forwarding it to ma'am, and we would be happy to answer your queries. Thank you once again for all the cooperation. We are really thankful to you for attending this session. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Aljit sir, we'll be sharing the PPT of this workshop with all the participants, right?
Yes, yes. So we would be mailing you
Okay.
all a PPT of this workshop, and again we would be sending you the agreement, a draft, a leave and license agreement. So kindly have a look. You can raise queries out of it, and we would be happy to, like
Resolve all your
resolve
queries.
your queries. You can even give us feedback of the session. Thank you so much once again. Please take care and be safe right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.